We're gonna make Lepinja bread today. So I'm gonna need 14 grams of yeast, which is going to be about 2.5 teaspoons. Looks like it's gonna be 1 tablespoon. And then to this, I'm gonna add a little bit of warm water. I've already measured out 750 milliliters, which is 3.5 cups of water. So I just wanna pour a little bit of water in there. I wanna get the yeast started. And then I'm going to have to add 1 teaspoon of sugar. And you wanna mix it and set it aside. So you want this to get all frothy, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the temperature of your water and how warm it is in your house. So I need 1 kilo of flour, which comes to about 2.2 pounds. So I'm gonna put it in my mixing bowl. I use an all-purpose flour. And in your flour, you're going to add salt. But I like to put my salt in an area where I'm not gonna dump the yeast in. So I have 1 kilo of flour. And then in here, I'm gonna put 2 teaspoons of salt. So my yeast is ready. It's nice and frothy. So I'm gonna add it into my bowl of flour. I'm gonna add in 1/3 of a cup, 500 or 50 milliliters of oil. All right, so it's been mixing for about 5 minutes. It needs to be nice and smooth and elastic. The dough will be sticky. So this is a very sticky dough. All right, so I'm gonna prepare my bowl. I'm gonna transfer the dough. I'm just gonna put a little oil in it, just to coat the inside of the bowl. Take my dough out of the mixer. The dough is very sticky. Like I said, this is the way it's supposed to be. You want to make sure all the dough is mixed. I'll just take my rubber spatula and just kind of check the bottom. Looks like it's all nice and mixed. I'm going to transfer it into my bowl. It's very elasticy. This is not a dough right now that you want to touch with your hands. All right, so it's in my bowl. I'm gonna cover it with some plastic wrap and put it someplace warm to double in size, which should take about 50 minutes to 60, depending on your weather. Maybe some of you have a proof button on your oven. That's a good feature to use. You had to move it out of that metal bowl because it will overflow. I made that mistake once. You don't want to do that again. All right, so the dough has doubled in size. It's been about 50 minutes. You're going to add 50 milliliters, which is 1/3 of a cup of oil, on top of it. And then you're going to take your hands and you're going to poke the oil in. And you're going to do this to incorporate the oil into the dough. You're going to take up from the sides, just fold it into the middle. You do not want to knead your dough at any point. You just want to take your fingers and poke holes. You're gonna keep doing this until all the oil is in the dough. And it does go fairly quickly, it only takes a couple of minutes. Out of all the recipes that I've done, I like this one the best, that you add the oil. I know there's recipes out there that don't have this step in it. I just think it gives you another level, another flavor of the dough and how it bakes. The dough is a very loose dough. All right, so we're getting close to the end here. That the dough is the oil is incorporated. So I floured my work surface. I'm gonna take my dough. I'm gonna just put it on into it. I'm gonna add some flour. I'm gonna kind of roll it into a log so I can cut even pieces out of it. You could make smaller ones, but today I'm gonna make 8 of these. All right, so I'm gonna try to cut them into 8 equal pieces. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, I didn't get 8. When that happens, just cut a little bit off of each one. And you will have your 8th one. Perfect. So, keep flouring your hands. The dough is still sticky. So what you want to do is you want to make a little ball. And you can put them off to the side, but I have enough sheet trays, so I'm going to lay them on my sheet tray. You definitely do not want to crowd this dough. So since these are going to be large, I'm only going to put 3 per sheet. All right, so I have these on a sheet tray. I'm gonna let them rise for about 20 minutes. So they've been rising for about 20 minutes. I'm gonna take my fingers and I'm going to poke holes in it. And then we'll flatten them down a little bit. But that's how your lepinja is supposed to be. Then you take a sharp knife and you make a checkerboard pattern on them. And then we're gonna let these rise again for another 10 minutes and toss them in the oven. So they're in the oven on 482 degrees for 10 minutes. And they are hot out of the oven. Nice and golden brown. Beautiful color. And your lepinja is done.